Call the member for Coogee.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. I rise to speak today in support of the Intoxicated Persons Sobering Up Centre Trial Bill 2013. Alcohol-fuelled violence is an issue which is of immense importance to the constituents of mine in Coogee. From the first day that I was elected to public office 13 years ago, people have been telling me and complaining to me about alcohol-fuelled violence or alcohol-fuelled antisocial behaviour on our streets, and they've wanted something to be done about it. I was very happy to, when I was the Mayor of Randwick, to call for 1 a.m. lockouts in the pubs at Coogee, and to force the hand of those opposite to actually introduce lockouts as a policy matter later that year after me calling for this. The most recent community survey that I undertook in my electorate, half of those responded listed alcohol-related violence and antisocial behaviour as an issue of concern to them in Coogee. The Coogee community has continually raised these concerns, and I don't blame them. We have some of the largest pubs in the state to cope with. I recall the first question that I asked in this place was directed to the Premier, and I asked him
Order.
I asked the Premier...
Sorry. There's too much audible conversation going on at the back of the Speaker's chair, and I ask the member to have the opportunity to be heard in silence.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The first question I asked to the Premier was regarding alcohol-fuelled violence and antisocial behaviour and what this government was going to do about it. And he said that he was constantly approached during the election campaign by members of the public in my electorate in particular, saying that they weren't happy with how the government had approached alcohol-fuelled antisocial behaviour, and that he's committed to doing something about it. Across the state, since alcohol-related violence has increased by 9% between 2005 and 2009, and the statistics show that more than 40% of violent crime has a connection to alcohol. So once upon a time, it was all right to go out for a drink, stay out for a while, have a good time, but for some reason the time has changed. The surveys, the research from 2011 shows the experience of responsible service of alcohol among young people. 59 respondents reported that they consumed alcohol at acute risk level during the previous 12 months. That's 1 in 5 people reported that they drink to a level of acute risk weekly. So we need to admit to ourselves that we have a cultural problem in this country with alcohol, how we consume alcohol, and this is something that's not going to be turned around overnight. There is no silver bullet, and I've constantly said. What we can do, however, is take measures to mitigate the impact of alcohol-fuelled antisocial behaviour. And during the election campaign, we promised a raft of measures to tackle alcohol-related violence. We promised there's 3 strikes and you're out laws to crack down on rogue premises flouting the liquor laws. We giving police move-on powers for drunken individuals to ensure that they do not cause disturbances, to reintroduce drunk and disorderly offence and significantly increase the penalties for that behaviour. And we promised to introduce the trial of sobering up centres across the state to allow people who would otherwise make a nuisance of themselves to calm down and return home safely. We're delivering on that promise. We were elected with a mandate to deliver that promise, and I note that the Honourable Steve Wan in the other place had even admitted in his speech that there's sobering up centres operating in Canberra and the Northern Territory, and to quote him, he says, in some cases they have been reasonably successful. So he can see, and yet this is an innovative program that where we should be looking as one of the measures that we need to take to address alcohol-fuelled antisocial behaviour and violence. This is one of a suite of measures that this government is taking, and the opposition, those opposite, should be supporting this, because the concerns that they have will be adequately addressed. But this is something that is innovative and new for this state. It's been trialled elsewhere and it's been found to be successful. Look, members of this place will be familiar with the story of Garrett Walsh, an Irish backpacker who died following a drunken altercation in Coogee back in 2009. Now, if these sobering up centres stop just a few of these bills a few of these assaults like this occurring, then it'll all be worthwhile. The fact is that we need to ensure that young people or all people can go out, head out at night, have a safe night out, and enjoy themselves without worrying that they might be attacked on their way home or have a small disagreement that might spill over into something much more serious. This is going to take drunks off the streets when otherwise they were going to be a nuisance to law-abiding people like all of us here, hopefully. Maybe not the member from, anyway. So I'm looking forward to a sobering up centre being established in Coogee. I'm looking to being sober when I visit it and see it operating. I've lobbied one in Parliament House for after the work cover debate for those people on that side of the House to visit. I haven't been successful, but I commend the bill to the House.
The question is that this bill